Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Blizzard ANZ Twitch page here for the official qualifiers, well, the preseason qualifiers for the Blizz Heroes HGC in the ANZ region. My name is Kit Fox. I'm your host for this evening. Thank you so much for sticking around. Nekomimi have just completed their match and they will be going head-to-head against the Wolfpack in round number 2. So without further ado, we've got, well, the teams making their way into the lobby now. We've got one more left to join. So a little bit of info about the upcoming seasons. There will be participation awards for people for teams who actually come in and play for a consistent amount of weeks. So it will most likely be loot chests, but don't quote us on that one. Hopefully, the Blizzard guys will come to the party and dish up the goods. But hey, who doesn't want free stuff? Am I right? That is why everybody will hopefully sweeten the deal for the lads to get the Open Division in and up and running. But Skimmy, my man, we are joined once again by your co-caster Vandy, who's sorted out the old ANZ internet issues, and now she's back, and you're going to be rocking it old school style.
That's the one. I'm glad to have her back in the side of things. I tried to say one thing to her before. She decided to ditch me. So, Corey, we were kind of just saying it's a bit like my love life. Somebody speaks to me, they get out of there ASAP. So, pleasure to have you back, and, let's kick things off.
Indeed. So happy to be back, and I can just really blame that one on Windows and just ANZ things as well. But like I said, Infernal Shrines as well. Super happy to kick this off, and I'm just so excited the season's starting up again, Skimmy.
Absolutely. We already had game number 1, which proved to be a crack between Downfall Gaming and the Saboteur lads. A very convincing score for Downfall, getting their campaign with a brand new organisation and some very sexy-looking sponsor tags. I'm looking at you, Flays, making them the team to watch out for. But this is game number 2, and this has a few new faces. Nekomimi, a bunch of ANZ players, a few of our friends involved with that roster. They are on the left. But first picking is the Wolfpack, which once upon a time were known as We Met at Bunnings. So fancy yourself a snag. You can get one from these lads. These boys are probably the most committed out of a lot of these. I don't want to say low ranking because that's disrespectful, but they've never made it to a LAN as such.
Yep.
But they've definitely always been a team on the cusp. I'm talking 5th, 6th spot.
Yep, they've been very, very consistent. And also, it's just a group of guys, I feel, just having a really good time. And when you do meet these guys in Hero League as well, they're pretty solid players. Like, they can cover a range of roles and flex out quite nicely. And I think that's one of their team strengths right there. And just looking at the initial drafts and the bans that we've got, so that Grey main, as well as the Hanzo, I mean, I'm not too surprised. Both of them have been powerhouses in themselves. More so, I think Hanzo with that poke that he gives, plus the damage that he can bring to a team, pretty nuts. I mean, Hanzo filling that utility role, something that really excites me, something I'd like to see them bring out more for heroes coming out.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with Genji not being banned away, it's an interesting situation. Where is the priority? So as we can see, it is ETC in that first pick role. Sometimes the Lucio, sometimes the Genji. In this case, ETC, the man with the horns, is where they want to rock and roll with. He's got that cowboy skin on, so he is ready to bust out a duel. But Hanzo, he is the flavor of the month. A lot of different builds. He actually got buffed, ironically enough. And now you can pretty much draft him any side of the moon, and you are going to find some form of value. But what is the priority now for the side of Nekomimi? Now, I don't want to really spoil the prize too much, but somebody told me that Stump God is a one-trick Valo and Cassia.
I have indeed seen rumors of this, so let's see if she indeed will bring out that Vala, bring out also the Lunara from time to time. But as we know, Lunara, we saw her, I guess, being played. She's always been a bit of that niche pick. People just kind of resort to her if depending on the team draft. But instead, we've got that Lucio and Dahaka to open things out. So no ranged damage just yet. But like I said, I'm hoping to see that Vala coming out. Because you and I were talking, remember, where I was saying, we're not seeing a lot of Vala. And you were breaking down the reason. I mean, we might as well, would you like to share with stream what you were telling me? Because it was very, very insightful.
I mean, this is my insight. This is my set of opinion, so to speak. Well, you're looking at the idea of a Hanzo, and he's fantastic at poke and fantastic at being annoying, hence why he's being banned so much. But what is he really weak at? He's got a very squishy health pool. You just bring some dive, and you really counter what he can achieve. So if you are going to be diving very heavily, generally speaking, you are going to be picking bruiser or melee heavy heroes. Tychus is fantastic at shutting down those people. So Definitely a far greater health pool than what Valakon offers, so she cannot become a casualty amongst all the mechs. But let's jump back into the draft, Andy. Story time is over. It's not bedtime just yet. Lucio and Tahaka have been locked in. Lucio is definitely going to be a one to watch, but same with the Gul'dan as well. Pairing it up with the sexy Mecha Rhaegar, and now you have a composition on your hands.
I like it. Rhaegar's looking sleek, just, fresh off the production line with that skin right there, and I'm loving it. I can't wait to see the effects and just how it plays in game. And Rhaegar, just a very, very good pick in order to utilize that ancestral heal. We've seen a lot. You bait out that first damage, use all those cooldowns, and bam, your health's topped right up. However, he is very prone to dive and can be focused down quite easily. So that Sonya ban right there, I feel like it almost helps the red team currently.
I would agree, because for the most part, I don't think they really wanted to go for that. I mean, yes, they could have. Definitely Sonya offers a lot in that top lane. It's a big skill matchup in terms of who wins at the duel, who baits out when that global is utilized. That's definitely one to watch, but now that gives them a few different options. The Shimada brothers once again taken off the ball. Both Hanzo and Genji are locked on away. What I'm noticing so far from the Wolfpack is wave clear. Gul'dan and Rhaegar offer so much in that department. Not to mention you've got the Rhaegar for the Ancestral to make sure the ETC or Gul'dan is there. And you will have that cleanse to give those unstoppable clips to the ETC if he does decide to try and go for the mosh pit.
Absolutely. I mean, never underestimate the power of the cleanse. And you're actually taking me back to that Hero League game where I accidentally randomed Uther and you're talking me through it and you're like, don't worry, I've got you. Just pre-cleanse your ETC. And I'm like, I'm having a hard enough time just playing Uther. Good times, good times. But as you said, story time is over. And that was 100% what I was going to pick up on as well. The Gul'dan, the Rhaegar, I mean, very, very good at clearing the waves. And as we know as well, once the little dudes spawn around the shrines, as we've coined them here, you can just pick them up so quickly before it just really will force Nekomimi to be on point with their rotations and their timing.
And here we go, Vandy. This is a bit of an insight into what we can start to see coming out of Nekomimi. They've gone for the Johanna. I'm thinking blinds are on the table. Potentially that Cassio is whispering into my ear right now. But we will have to wait and see. Jenna, once again, in the second game, is going to be locked on in. A lot of love for Jenna so far, which is really cool to see.
Yeah.
As the meta has evolved, definitely. For a long time, it was Li Ming. Li Ming. How about a Li Ming? Maybe a Li Ming. Sometimes a
Kael'thas on this map.
Absolutely. Sometimes a Kael'thas, but now it's all about ice. It's almost a bit like Pokemon, fire and ice. And now we've got all games of Throny and, Walking Dead.
Something as well to keep in mind. So with that Johanna now, plus that Tahaka, they can play very, very aggressive Nekomimi because their Lucio's speed boost, Johanna will have that great engage ready to go. So that's something that they need to be mindful of. She almost fill the role of how Arthas. I mean, we always talk about how Arthas and Lucio go so well together because once you're stuck, you're really going to be stuck in that frost for a while. So I love that they're thinking about the synergy between their team composition as well in the draft. And looking at that Malthael and Alex Straz is an interesting one. So why I say it's interesting because it's bringing back that double support that we were slowly starting to see phased out with all the changes across the board.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say, we actually haven't seen any double support in such a long time since they made those support nerfs, but now with that in mind, I mean, Alex Straz and Rhaegar, for the most part, actually do output a fair bit of damage, so definitely keep your eyes on that. They aren't going to be as designated for supporting as such, as they can definitely offer a bit of a punch when it comes to team fighting. But I'm interested to see how they decide to ramp things up here. Those are your two different comps. Trace was the final locking in without a Tesla. This is some ballsy plays, but it is none other than Mitzi, the Hero League love fan, whatever you want to call him. All the ANZ boys know him.
Indeed they do. And also just with I guess we were just talking about Tracer as well, without having that Tacita, I mean, it's almost risky, but what I'm really seeing here is that Tracer can really dance around a lot of their picks. So Mitzi having that flexibility to be that last pick, to see what they're about, and then to be like, I'm still confident enough to play it. I believe he can. Like, the backline seems quite open to me.
I agree as well, and it's going to be interesting to see how they decide to try and play out these team fights. I mean, there's a lot of control, and there's definitely going to be a level of expertise that the Wolfpack have over Nekomimi. So looking to try and see how this game does pan out, I would argue that it should be in favor of the Wolfpack, given the experience that they have. But Nekomimi have what I'd like to call a very Hero League-esque composition. So if they can bring the power with that execution like we discussed in game number 1, then this is all up for grabs. I'm looking at the Malthael and saying he's all G. I like the name. I like the player. I like seeing what he can do on their hero.
I do like the Maltfield pick because what I'm imagining is, you've got that Dahaka and the Johanna. They really want to try and go in. They have all the tools to go in. I don't really think they're going to be looking to play passively, especially because the Tracer can flank. They want to create their distraction, let Tracer slip around the backline. But Maltfield can shred them, almost that role that the Tychus was going to offer. So once they're not really diving, but they've just got hard engage with Nekomimi's team composition. And I feel like Maltfield will really help keep them at bay and make sure that Gul'dan's nice and safe so he can dish out a lot of that range damage.
The thing that I'm a bit concerned about with the Tracer, apart from not having the Tessadar to allow it to really do what it's achieving, which is that one-shot potential, is you've got two supports. Two supports which have a lot of burst healing, a lot of ability to actually find some kills. So I'm curious how things all decide to actually pan out here, if the execution is going to be sharp enough that Jaina and Tracer can get people low enough to actually find those kills.
Absolutely. I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But the game is loaded up. We are on Infernal Shrines. This is game number 2 that we're bringing you tonight. And I'll kick things off by introducing the blue team. So we have Nekomimi with Stump God playing Jaina, Mitzi on Tracer, Hashtag playing Johanna, Touch Me on Dahaka, and Free Quality on Lucio.
And returning in a different capacity for another season is the Wolfpack, led by Tanner. Tanner the Spanner, he is on ETC. Jester playing Alexstrasza, Tegiza on Gul'dan, OG on Maltfield, and Helium on the Ray. Oh, we got a pause just happening now. Just waiting to see what has happened now. I believe that is Stump God. This is classic ANZ with the 3-2-3. And if you've ever played a quick match with Stump God, you know she probably DCs about 4 times throughout the game. But make sure, quite conveniently, she comes back by the end to make sure she doesn't get that leaver status.
100% agree and have been through the same thing. So not to worry, she should be back. Hopefully just booting up the old, skivvy your favorite, the old little hotspot. But I'm already seeing, also just talking about team composition, something that we did overlook. They do have that really nice juicy combo, or wombo, if you will, of the Johanna plus Jaina. So we can get some juicy Ring of Frost happening. And that's something that I guess can really, like I said, they'd be looking to play aggressive with that one for sure. I don't think that they'd be wanting to play reactive. Just looking at their team composition, it just suits aggression so well.
I'm just looking at the Alexstrasza, and she's going for the E-build. I just really want to call it Flame Buffet.
Sometimes I read as Flame Buffet when I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
Not all the flames.
I really want to call it Flame Buffet, but you just look at it, you're thinking, buffet. Sounds good to me.
It is Flame Buffet.
Like the players are ready, Corey. Looks like we are ready to jump on in. Stump got his DC'd again. Fantastic. That's what I want to hear. Let's discuss these comps a little bit further before we get cracking into this one. This seems to be the flavor of the month. This seems to be the build that a lot of players have settled on in the ANZ region, or even globally for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a very Frostbolt-centric style of play. Allows you to stay from a great distance, obviously, and output a significant amount of damage whilst still being safe, unlike the likes of, say, Li Ming, which requires a great deal of confidence and dominance, ironically enough.
Yep, absolutely. I have to agree with you on that one. So I also really like that Frostbolt build because, like you said, you got the extra range, but also when you take the talent to reduce the cooldown of it as well, you can pretty much keep people permafrosted if you focus them. And it can be very, very hard for them to escape. So just makes them a sitting duck for the rest of your teammates to pounce on. And I think that's also why we're seeing a big, big uptake on Jaina. I like the changes that were brought, but also that double support nerf helped bring her back, I think, because as you said, when you brought up the Tracer point, mages, I guess, were less favored because it was just so hard to burst down target with that double support.
I think the one thing I really want to see coming out of especially the Dahaka is an isolation. The isolation has to land, absolutely has to land to ensure that a kill is picked up here, because otherwise that double support is going to ensure that any hero that does get pounced upon and is fortunate enough to be receiving a pulse bomb is most likely going to survive. So I'd love to see that come out of Touch Me. If he does go for the adaptation, I think they are going to struggle for execution. But the game is back in business. Looks like Stump God has booted up that Dodo internet, found a 4G hotspot, and ready to rock and roll on that Windows 98.
I can't even take you seriously, especially when you start with Dodo internet. Give me a good laugh there. All right, so let's get into it. I love it. Once again, always the ARAM in the mid lane. Always. We just don't have the restraint, do we? And you can already see, though, Touch Me, he doesn't mind because he's sitting happy trying to clear that lane right there before Malthus can get there. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. I do like the buff that... Oh, no, I'm going to stop myself there because Mitzi was very, very low in that bottom lane. So we'll keep our eyes to see if they can collapse on that, but free quality is there.
Free quality indeed. He's not playing a medic, which is interesting to a lot of people, I'm sure. He has diversified his hero pool, so Team 1 trick has become now Team 2 trick, so things are changing. 2018, new year and new me. You don't go to the gym, you go to try mode instead, and that's where you really get some of those big gains. But what I want to talk about on a serious note is that top lane. Obviously, the matchup between Dahaka and Malthael. It is, for the most part, going to be dominated by Malthael in a 1v1 situation, but it's going to require a lot of discipline and understanding of Touch Me as to when he should be rotating and when he should be looking for team fights.
Yep, it does put a lot of that pressure on. And something as well is with qualities, Lucio, he's very, very confident playing that hero, but he's getting caught out right here. I literally just jinxed him. Yep, they were waiting for the rotate.
Curse of the year.
Yes, it is actually. I was just going to say he was very, very confident using that hero actually to climb to Masters quite easily last season. And he was just very happy on it. He's like, Lucio is so powerful. I mean, everyone's like undervaluing this hero, so glad to see that Lucio's been picked up a lot more across all the regions as well. But as soon as I said that, he got picked out. But this time, Mitzi now looking to make the plays. And you can see the healing coming out.
That's what I mean, and this is even before Pulsecom can be used, especially pre-10, when it's not going to be doing as much damage as it can do otherwise. They went for the attempt, but 2 supports are there to ensure that that person will not fall on through. And now it's a case of bouncing back and forward. That's mid lane to bot lane, mid lane to bot lane. There is equal wave clear in some capacity, so we shouldn't be in too much of an issue in that regard, but still in the top lane, you can see it's a stalemate. Touch Me in the vents waiting, and this is what he has to do, at least before level 4. You're going to see what talent he decides to go for.
That's it. All he really... Sorry. All he really needs to do is just clear the lane for his team, keep it pushed, and just keep Malthael occupied. I mean, that's really all he needs to do. Or if he sees a juicy rotate that can net him a kill, especially before the Shrine goes, that's when you want to go. Stumpgod in a lot of trouble here, though.
Here we go. They're going to go in for that power slide. Stumpgod very low, but Free Equality is there to make sure that she does get out. That's the drag from Touch Me coming on down. G is not there. They do find the kill. The drag is successful. Now looking for a second. Jester pops the dragon. He drops down the heals as well. Tano is going to run away from that one, duking himself. Mobility is there. Oh, a fantastic gust. A mini gust, a flame gust, if you will. Ensures that Tana does live to fight another day. The heal is there. The gift of life, as therapeutic as that sounds, ensures that he does surround himself with life. Now,
wonderful.
The first shrine is up.
I love that, Skimmy. That was such a good turnaround by Nekomimi right there, and a lot of that was made possible by Touch Me's rotations, and that's exactly the role that we'd like to see him filling on that Dahaka. And I mean, it was quite a surprise for Wolfpack as well, because it looked like Stumpgod was down for the count. That really would have helped with the pressure that they could have then applied in dominating the shrine. Now both teams are focused. They camp. What they have at least done is stop them from taking the siege camp, and they've actually taken their own shaman camp, so that'll help them push out the lane and give Nekomimi, I guess, a little bit something that they need to clear before they can fully draw their attention to the shrine.
So a nice little pick up here by the Wolfpack, going for their shaman camp very early on, looking to try and utilize their cooldown, especially to get this lane pushed against the tower, allowing them to have some kind of capacity, some kind of shifting of power, if you will, going into the shrine to pick up those initial little dudes, as we like to call them, Vandy, down here in ANZ.
Love it. That is what they are. They're little dudes.
And that's allowing him to pick up 13 so far. That's Johanna, a bit of trouble. That's going to be the Iron Skin already down, looking to try and run away. That's going to be Mitzi jumping into the back line, looking to try and go for Jester very early on. He does finally get it with the parting gift to ensure that the kill is picked up. Abandon's far too slow to pop up and get a heal. Oh, looking for the second. They do get it, but the trade is there. Johanna, low as she was going into the engagement, does fall on down. A 2-for-1 trade working in favor of Nekomimi.
Nekomimi now, they're turning up the heat. Mitzi is finally getting the plays that he would like, and that's once the team composition comes together, it gets so much harder to keep tabs on that Tracer because there's so much else you're dealing with, and that's exactly what you want for a Tracer. You want to make sure that your tanks go in, everyone's distracted with the front line, and that just allows Tracer to play that flanking role to really then apply the pressure on the back line, so they're not able to really dish out damage. You can see them starting to struggle.
Ooh.
Now Touch Me is the one struggling.
He really is. He's got a blizzard on top of him, but that's not going to be enough to deter this hangry Wolf squad. I say hangry because they looked angry, but it looked like they were hungry as well. Talking of buffets, you've got the Flame Buffet on delivery right there. So Jester is with the team, and he's nom-nomming away as they pick up some little dudes. 25-21, they've shifted this one back around again, but the skirmish does continue. They're looking to try and pick up helium. He's low, the heal goes up, but it's not going to be enough. Sweet dreams to Rhaegar. And once again, it is Nekomimi looking to continue this one, looking to find another, looking for Tanner. And the drag is good, and the drag scores.
Oh, there's only 10 more that the Wolfpack guys need, but they're just down on team resources right there. Mitzi's not yet done. Another pulse bomb in such a short space of time. But look at this, All G, he wants the kill. He's chasing, knows that he needs to back off.
Does indeed. 37 to 32, so close, but so far. Uh-oh, this is an overstep to Giza. Well, you have to question why he went there. Tangering in the wrong suburb. He gets picked up for 3. That's a bonus prize for this objective. The Mortar Punisher, the weakest of them all, now in the top lane, looking to achieve some work. And if they play this one quite nicely with Touch Me going for the soak, they could ideally pick up the full, get 10, and look to try and force a full-on fight.
That's exactly what they'll be looking to do and need to just watch out. But luckily that All-G, he did not overcommit onto Mitzi, so he is up to shred that Punisher. And that is as well why Malthael can be quite a decent pick with the large health pool that Punisher brings. Mitzi's still trying to put a little bit of pressure on. So with that front wall gone, we can start to see Nekomimi, they are trying to get a little bit aggressive, see if they can make a play, but it would be very, very unwise to take a fight right under that fort.
No level 10 for quite a big time now. Brushtalk is available if they decide to do it. Mitzi playing with that fog of war. Going to go straight in towards Giza, who is isolated. Pulse Bomb coming out. Looking to try and find that kill. Very low. Quantum Spike doing work. Ring of Frost collapses, followed by the Blessed Shield. And just like that, you're not 10. And you are caught out again. Easy peasy lemon squeeze. Here's the call right there. And oh, gee, well, I have to wonder what he was doing there. The Burrow comes on through. And they say, Kira, bro, thanks for the double.
I'm very, very unsure with what Wolfpack's positioning was just there because they did not have that level 10, and if you were going to fight, under the fort would have been the safest option. And we could see Nekomimi's positioning, they wanted to utilize that level 10 advantage, and they did. It doesn't matter that they burned the cooldowns because they got the kills, and what this means is that they can then free up and push the lanes in quite relative safety. So it just helps snowball the little lead that they're trying to create.
Really cool to see that they had the same foresight to go for that isolation as well. They have picked it up. Mitzi once again, he's a terror. He's able to find these isolation kills, which I thought might have been a concern, but it's not proving to be because for the most part, the double support comp is split. I mean, Rhaegar for the last couple of minutes at the very least has been split pushing, trying to achieve level 10, trying to get some soak in other lanes, try and catch them up and get them in with a fighting chance. But it's not happening.
Yeah, exactly right. And I mean, I was looking, Mitzi has taken that Quantum Spike. No really big surprises there, but as you said, isolation is a key in making sure that the kills happen because Tracer is such a slippery hero. Just need to be so wary as well if you are going to be pushing out by yourself, especially as a squishy. Just be mindful that she's probably going to be coming after you, or at least looking at you. Helium, he's getting a little bit of a, I guess, vision for his team, but I don't want him to get caught out. I want the Wolfpack guys to stabilize now.
Indeed, indeed. And why would you call yourself the Wolfpack unless you have a wolf on your team? Helium is the leader. He is bringing the cavalry with him, but not just yet. He's waiting for them to rotate on through, and as a result of that, Nekomimi can look to try and execute this window with some prowess. You can see right now the little dudes, the spear archers, if you will, pushing in the bot lane. They've got mercenaries in the mid lane, which have now only just fallen down, and they have the shaman camp pushing in the top. A lot of pressure across the board. Level 13 is looming, and it's all to play for at this stage, but it's all up to how Wolfpack decide to play this one out. The next shrine spawning in mid lane. They are looking for a play now, Vandy.
They are indeed. Stump God has been feared, and the Ring of Frost does not connect with the targets that she wants. There's no follow-up. Wash Pit as well goes out.
Indeed, isolation is down to Rhaegar's running him out completely. All G is low, doesn't have the Tormented Souls just yet, has to run away. Corrality is going to fall to ticking damage. And that is going to be the recall coming out of Mitzi here. This is the sustained fight that really does work in favor of the Wolfpack, and they find one. Fantastic timing as well. No level 13. And now the shrine spawns. They can look to try and capitalize this one, utilize that small 15-second window without a support to try and put some dominance and put some assertiveness back in their side of the court.
This is exactly the fight that we could see Wolfpack wanting to win because level 13, the advantage was in Nekomimi's court, but that fear was so aptly timed and the follow-up as well. But look at this, Nekomimi still wants to fight with Tanner dropping. He's very low, the Pulse Bomb is going to take the kill.
That it does, and now they're looking for second kills right now. Helium is low, he's out of mana, out of trouble, out of options. And just like that, he comes tumbling down like a pile of bricks. It's like the earthquake in Christchurch, but not as bad. He's down and out of the count. 2 kills too easily. And now a second chance for a second Punisher, Andy.
That's pretty good. Nekomimi, they are not down and out for the count with Stump God back in action. They were ready to then contest. And that 13 advantage that they had, they're going to utilize it. Touch Me as well, still trying to bully them. You can see every time these guys try to get a little bit of an advantage, Nekomimi, they're making all the right calls. They know exactly what they need to check, all the pressure that they're trying to... And Mitzi getting a little bit cheeky. Might have overstayed his welcome. And instead gets the kill. There's no way he's going to get it.
He gets the kill, he recalls, he knows he's dead. He drops the spray, he's just like, well, I guess I might as well just pad my stats. Now let's just watch this. Let's just watch this in cinematic view.
Oh my goodness me. I mean, I feel like you'd be fuming if you're all G right now. He's like, not everything is not all G, alright? It's just, yeah.
It really isn't.
The lead is starting to really snowball as well, with 13 almost now being acquired, and that was a very, very ancestral that needed to be burned onto Tanda to keep him alive.
Yeah, absolutely, very early on, and that's not the ideal situation, because now that has a big ultimate down and out without them looking for a fight, they had to burn that simply on a jump on in from the Frozen Punisher. Orbs across the board are going to slow down their advance before they can find a fight. Level 16 is just around the corner, but it's not going to happen. And they clear up that Punisher and they go back to business. 16 is the call. 12 kills to 5. I think that does quite fairly represent what this game has been like, Vandy.
Yeah, it does the talking. The scoreboard 100% does the talking of what's been going on, and a lot of that has been really made possible by Mitzi, as well as the Ring of Frost being very, very nicely done by Stump God, just making sure that they can follow up and burst down these targets. Unfortunately, I mean, there was that whiff happening on Tegiza with that fear, but that was only because she did land it, but the fear just stopped any sort of follow-up from happening. And I'd be a little bit worried now if I was Wolfpack, because what do you change? How do you stabilize? We can see every time they try to venture on out, they're just getting bullied off. So all they can really do is try to turtle up for the moment.
I mean, let's actually discuss what kind of options they have on their side. They will have Shroud Wisdom on Malfield, giving him 50 spell armor on demand. The only caveat to that is it's after 2 seconds. He needs to have that sort of presence of mind to understand if he is going to be the kill target or not. You've got Healthstone on the Gul'dan. Pacify, why did I try and put an accent on that? Pacify on Alexstrasza, which will be inactivatable on a 60-second cooldown, which slows and reduces an enemy's hero damage by 50%. Absolutely crucial that Jester can get that at the right place at the right time to try and give them a fighting chance, because they do have those tools. They've got Dream, which is Horrify, Moshpit, and Tormented Souls. Between those three, they can find that late game wombo combo comeback. But right now, as chat has already called out, please, Nekomimi, take my energy.
Finish it, right? Finish what you've started. But Wolfpack, we've seen this can be a game of throws, but the way Nekomimi are playing is that they want this game. They're pretty much, they've got the coffin ready and they're trying to just, seal the lid, right? That's what's going on. But Wolfpack, they're showing that they're not going to be down out without a fight, and they have the tools to do so. One team fight, I mean, that ETC, one good mosh can really change what's going on. Oh, touch me. This is it. They want to prey on the Dahaka, but look at the collapse already starting to come. Mitzi is already there. First on the scene, and they're hotly followed by Quality.
Yeah, he tried to try and get himself out of harm's way. It wasn't proving to be enough in the end, but despite this, they actually want to go for a fight. Mitzi utilising the fact that there is no fort in mid lane, jumping on in from a side angle, now bullying Tegiza. Tegiza whiffing that Horrify completely. Ring of Frost in a clutch, choke, spot, and that is the mosh pit, making a Lucio dance. He was dancing before, but now he's dancing twice. Blizzard on the floor doing whatever it can. He drops a Sandbear, and that's enough to ensure that these members do survive. Nekomimi on the hunt for more kills, raining fire from above. Finally, Tracer gets taken down to the grave, but Malfield pays the price as well. Jester on towards the floor, using that flame buffet to try and block these members away. Abundance comes out too late, and the Wolfpack, true to its name, is left with their courageous leader, Mr. Wolfman himself, Robotico. But he is out of the way, Vandy. 4 kills, easy as could be, in a 4v5 situation. What do you think that does for a team's mentality?
It just, as I said, it's just very, very difficult. And I feel like what could have been done a little bit differently was I could really see Tegiza out in the back line struggling with that Tracer 1v1. He did not have, Drain was already used. And then if the Cleansing Flame had been used there to finish off the Tracer, it's only on 2 bars, Mitzi. Like, nothing at all. And we saw the Cleansing Flame go out to finish the kill, but if that was used earlier to heal Gul'dan, kill the Tracer, could have been a totally different fight. Because they did have the numbers advantage to start with, but they just didn't have enough sustain. After that Ancestral Heal was down, that was all they really had left in the tanks, and they just sort of struggled after that.
Now we look for another fight. See hashtag being the aggressive one. Ring of Frost is good, collapsing onto one target in particular, and just like that, Alexstrasza falls to the floor. Hashtag is low in the top left, but it's not going to be too much of a concern because they're looking to try and force a fight in the bottom right. Tegiza does get the Horrify off, but not before Postbomb connects and takes him out of harm's way. Not really having a good game this time. The Mitzi pick on that Tracer is definitely finding its value. And once again, we're left in a situation where it's looking like a clean 5-man ace. The Wolfpack, experienced and as strong as they have been, right now getting outclassed by a new roster known as Nekomimi.
Yeah, I mean, at the very start of the game, you were saying, all right, so we've got We Met at Bunnings, now renamed to the Wolfpack. They've been in a lot of these tournaments. We always see their roster coming up, and as I said, they just like to have a go, have a good try, and they're a decent group. But as well as Nekomimi, these guys are also another group of friends, although a new roster that has been put together. But their composition was very Hero League-esque, I believe was what you were coining the term.
Yeah.
And the fact that they've really made it shine, I mean, Mitzi as well, just capitalizing anytime you can see an isolated target, just putting out so much pressure on that Tracer, to the fact where even the double support can't seem to really handle it.
Well, now a fully healed up, nice, healthy, does not need a Dr. John Cena, rocks on up into the spot lane, and that keep, without a doubt, a shadow of doubt, is going to fall on down. They try and leash it across to their core, but it's going to come straight back on. 50% now. This is the all-important shot call. Level 20 is there. They're deciding to go for the core. The shield is still healthy. This is an all-or-nothing situation for the boys of the Wolfpack. The Ring of Frost comes out. 2 members fall on down. Alex Strasser pops at Dragonfall. Mosh Pit is there. Instant boop! Quality, fantastic expertise there. OG pops the Tormented Souls. Not going to matter, however. Gul'dan falls on through. Same for the Rhaegar. The Punisher is dead. The core's on 45%. And it is Tanner against the world as Jester drops to the floor. He does what he can, but it's not proving to be enough now, Vandy. The core is falling. The game is looking like it's said and done. And like Game of Thrones, we're going to have to wait until next season to find out.
No, we're going to find out right here. So there we go. Good game to Nekomimi, but nice try, Skimmy. I like what you did there. And it was just always going to be a very, very difficult, like that would have been a 1 in a million shot of winning that. Level 16 to level 20, I believe it was. It's just too much of a level difference at that point. And with that very, very healthy Punisher to lead the charge, what can you really do? Like you said, it sort of spelt disaster there for Wolfpack. And it really, I think, came down to that one fight where I said, where Wolfpack really could have turned it around with Tegiza. If Jester was able to use that Cleansing Flame a little bit earlier to keep him safe, kill Mitzi early, could have been a totally different story. But very, very well played to Nekomimi. I'm very excited to see what their roster brings in this team, in this competition.
Yeah, 100%. I had to share that exact same thought. Really cool to sort of see them get off to a flying start and really sort of compete with some of the best in this qualifying situation. So definitely keep your eyes peeled on these people. They aren't a meme squad by any means. They can definitely bring some pain. And 21-17 in terms of levels, 26-7 in kill count. Really, I would say, accurately portrays what that game was like. But we're going to jump once again to another 5-minute break. And when we return, round number 3 of the ANZ qualifications for the Premier League.